Hi, I'm Ethan Brander.
And I'm Max von Gries.
Today we're going to break down 4 teams that we think could make a run in the Sweet 16. To start, I really think the Providence Friars have been great all season long. But I really think they've been flying under the radar because they really don't light up the stat sheet. They only average 71.8 points per game, while only giving up around 66. These are pretty respectable stats, but nothing that is really extraordinary. And that's exactly what this team is. A good team, but not an extraordinary one that plays smart basketball with with a really good coaching staff. The team's top scorer only averages 13.5 points per game, which is crazy that there's a team that's in the Sweet 16 with that little scoring power.
That just means that they've got a lot of guys that can score, right?
Exactly. They have 5 guys on their team that are averaging at least 9.9 points, which means that they spread the ball around a lot. That's what's been giving teams headaches all season long. There's not one player that a team can single out on the Friars that you can use to just shut them down. They don't have that Jabari Smith, Keegan Murray's type player that can just carry them, which is a blessing and a curse because if the team doesn't play well, they don't have that guy that can just elevate them. But like I said, they're a smart, well-coached team. But the Friars really kind of pulled the short straw this week. They take on the Kansas Jayhawks, and even though I really like the Friars, I don't think they're going to beat them.
I would not bet on the Providence Friars, in my opinion.
I probably wouldn't either. I think they've had a great season, but I think it's coming to the end this week. The Jayhawks are just so much better. DraftKings has them as a 7.5-point favorite, and I think that's pretty accurate. But I wouldn't be surprised if Providence made a really good game out of this one. They are just built really well to take on teams like this, but probably not to beat them. Now, Max, who do you have?
Listen, Ethan, I've got the Purdue Boilermakers, and currently they're my front runners to make it to the national championship. But first, they're going to have to steamroll St. Peter's. I don't even know where they're in New Jersey, but no one's ever heard of the St. Peter's Peacocks, and that's why I think Purdue is going to blow them out. Because Purdue has Jaden Ivey. That's their star. He doesn't let anyone guard him too closely because he possesses the skill of just being too fast. He's like Sonic. He just goes right by the defenders because it makes it virtually impossible for a defense to try guarding one-on-one with a guy that's that quick. And he does a great job of breaking down his defenders, driving towards the hoop where he'll either take it to the hoop or he'll dish it to the perimeter with a teammate who's ready for the 3. This is why I think St. Peter's will have their hands full. Not only with Jaden Ivey, but have you heard of Purdue's gigantic center, Zach Edey?
Yeah, I have. It's amazing to me that he's only 19 years old.
Yeah, he's only 19 years old, but he's 7'4", and the next tallest person on the St. Peter's roster is 6'10". Personally, that's a matchup nightmare that I am not going to get involved in because you can't be giving up that much size and expect to get rebounds offensively and defensively, and that's why I think St. Peter's fans they're having nightmares right now, and. I mean, who on St. Peter's is going to be brave enough to try and shoot over Zach Edey, try getting to the rim? And that's why I think that he makes such an impact along with Jaden Ivey. And that's why I think Purdue is so dangerous. Because how do you guard him? Nobody knows. I mean, unless you're Iowa in the Big Ten Tournament Championship. But that was a long time ago. But Ethan, what's your opinion on some other teams?
Yeah, so a team that gets a ton of buzz every single season is Gonzaga. And they're really interesting this season because they have a ton of talent. As of the filming of this, they're in a close game against the Arkansas Razorbacks. At halftime, it was 32-29, with the Razorbacks winning. Now, I like Arkansas a lot. I know you do too.
I really enjoy watching Arkansas. I really enjoy their coach, Eric Musselman, who came from Nevada, quickly moved to a bigger conference in the SEC, and he's shown why he's one of the best coaches in the nation.
Yes, he's led the Arkansas Razorbacks to a 4 seed, and they have been giving the Zags trouble all game. But this season, Gonzaga has been utterly dominant. They've been just destroying teams, and a big reason for that is because they're touting 2 of college basketball's biggest stars, in Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren. Now, this team is notorious for their March collapses, but I think this team is different. I think that they have just too much talent. They have too much experience, and they have too good of a head coach in Mark Few to really just lose like this. But I think that March can bring anything into it. But like I said a minute ago, experience. This Gonzaga team, of their starting 5, only has 1 player that is a freshman, meaning everyone else on their starting roster has at least a year of March Madness experience. That one guy, the freshman, is Chet Holmgren. You know Chet Holmgren, the 7 foot tall, 14-point averaging.
I heard he's pretty good, and I heard he might be going somewhere after this year.
Yeah, he's projected to be the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. So, you know, he's pretty good. I don't think experience really matters for this guy. But this team really could lose this game. And even if they win this game, they're going to have a lot of troubles next week because they take on either Duke or Texas Tech, both very good basketball programs.
Very well coached.
Very, very well coached. And in the last game, Memphis gave them a big scare. They only beat the Memphis Tigers by 4 points, even though they were heavy favorites to win the game and even heavier favorites to win the national title. Now, Max, how are our bitter rivals in the Iowa State Cyclones doing?
You know, this is very difficult for me to say as a student at the University of Iowa, as a fan of University of Iowa athletics, but I'm all in on the Iowa State bandwagon. I think Iowa State will make it to the Final Four. It's a love-hate relationship for me because, you know, Iowa, of course, lost this season, but man, they have a player in Isaiah Brockington that is something else. Brockington, who, if you didn't know, he transferred from Penn State because he wanted to have a more prominent role, and he's found his groove in March. When he's hitting on all cylinders, he will look to find his shot from the elbow where he's absolutely deadly from. He can drive and also pass, and I think he's a big reason for how Iowa State has turned things around in just under a year. Look out for freshman point guard Tyrese Hunter, who is, like I said, only a freshman, but he's been playing like a 6-year senior as of late. Hunter has proven time and time again that he can hit deep shots while also being a great on-ball defender. He and the Clones will give the Miami Hurricanes everything and more in their Sweet 16 matchup this Friday. This one is going to be a barn burner. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Max Von Gries.
And I'm Ethan Brander.
To keep up with all your sports news, tune into DITV or check out our website at dailyiowan.com. Have a great rest of your day.